darkness. And if we don't understand the time we're in, we don't understand the medicine that required to lift us from that zulumat. Means that in this oceans of oppression and darkness, that for us the power of istighfar and constantly understanding that a shield of light, when the believer builds themselves through their actions, through their amal, through all of the practices which are pleasing to Allah and His beloved Rasul under the guidance of ulul these amal are like a shield of protection around the believer. And when that shield of protection, that pushing away the shayateen, pushing away all evilness, everything that comes with that understanding of mushkilat, every difficulty. What they want us to sort of have a visual and an understanding, it's a shield of protection. You see, the shield is up for the believer if they can reach a point in which they have a protective shield. They should feel a tremendous himmah, a tremendous light, a tremendous energy to achieve, because all their actions at that time are profitable. You get the benefit of every energy coming in if the shield of protection is there. Because every coming in, every positive energy in a positive environment will be felt. The salah will be powerful, the zikr will be powerful, the siyam will be powerful. Every action, the zakah, everything that the believer does with the shield of protection, if they achieve that understanding, means they are now benefiting through that positive energy, and that positive energy keeps increasing, keeps increasing. And they want us to know, and for myself to know, that what shaitan knows that. He knows that there's a field of energy protecting that believer, emanating from their heart all around their being. And he knows that by inspiring that believer towards sin, towards the sayyat, is going to open a hole within that protection. And the cleverness of these sins are unimaginable, that his only goal is to put the believer in a condition in which they commit sins. And every sin that they commit immediately opens a hole in that force field. If that hole in a force field opens, the shayateen are coming in like an alien invasion. When you watch a sci-fi movie and you watch these things that Allah is in this ocean of creation, as soon as there's a hole in that field of protection, there's an entire invasion of shayateen that coming in at such a high speed is impossible for the believer to protect themselves. And all that shaitan wants is to increase the sins. So then another hole opens, another hole opens, another hole opens, until they are affecting the energy of that believer. We said that if you take yourself from positivity and that shield begins to go down, it's important for us to understand, because in these days they want us to know that we are in such an ocean of zulumat that nobody's clever and figuring it out. Because what's going to happen in this oppression is that when shaitan comes in, he pulls the believer from small to bring in the big. He doesn't bring the big sins, because they would understand, oh, this is shaitan inspire me. They inspire towards the small and begin to take away the faith of the believer until that person begins to have shak and doubt in their life. Doubt in Allah, doubt in Prophet, doubt in the ulul the shaykhs and the guides. The ulul come first, because Allah Most High, shaitan is eating through a wall and going up, 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 up. So it means that at this day and age there is no believer that became clever and figured out that his shaykh and his guide is wrong, and that the action of the shaykh and the guide is wrong, the practices of the shaykh and the guide are wrong. But what they want us to understand is it's the believer that's under attack, and every bad action that they commit opens a hole. When that hole comes, the shayateen are moving in. When the shayateen move in, it brings doubt because it takes away the good and gives it to be a negative. Takes away the good and gives it to be a negative, and then that believer begins to have doubt in everything that they're doing. They don't believe that, oh, I don't feel anything anymore, I don't feel any connection anymore, I don't think that who I'm following is correct anymore. And then shaitan moves towards the amal and begin to inspire the person to pray late and not to pray the sunnah and not to pray the fard on time. Means every action like a domino will begin to increase and begin to push that person towards not actions that are pleasing to Allah. So then in this day and age there are no clever people that are figuring it out. There are only people who have succumbed to the energy of shaitan and they entered into the oceans of shak and doubt. Because they're not at the height of Islam, we're at the lowest point of belief in our history. That's why you see as a whole there are people who actually go out and they doubt the madhabs. They think that with their jahal brain they figured out a new madhab. This is the example because sometimes people can't see within themselves. So Allah says, look on the horizon, don't you see a collective group of people now that question every madhab? Then they'll question the sunnah because this is the way of shaitan. The madhab were the ulul am, so they're all attacking the madhabs. They even attack the maqams of these pious awliyaullah, of pious ulama and scholars. That was the attack of the ulul am. Then they begin to go after the hadith and they begin to find every hadith to be weak. Not because the hadith is weak, is because they are ignorant fools and their heart is weak, their belief is weak, and they think that they became clever and they found a weakness in something that these great ulama brought for us. No, we're at the worst of time, we're at the time where insan is like a baboon in a zoo that all he does is take his poo and throw it at the window. We're not at the height of our belief, we're at the lowest point of our belief, and that is showing us on the horizon they're attacking the ulul am, they're attacking the madhabs. They find every hadith to be weak, God forbid, astaghfirullah azim. Why? So that they can take the sunnah away. And they say, we're ahlul Qur'an only, we follow Allah only. Say, oh well, this was the madhab of shaitan when he said, I'm not going to bow down to Adam. So then we know who the Imam is. Means then we understand that this is a time of tremendous darkness. Everything is being eaten in our belief, and Prophet described your belief will be like a hot coal in your hand. They come into our lives and say, this is that time, this is the time that Prophet was warning, holding your belief is like a fire, because every day you want to stop it and every day you want to run away from it. Run to where? Run to the fire of Jahannam that shaitan has prepared. But come with all your shak, come into this fire, because you're not going to find ulul amr in there, and you're not going to find Sayyidina Muhammad in there, and you're not going to find Allah there. So who's going to be there? Shaitan. Means in this time that we live everything is based on that. So means every sin is coming to open a hole within that force of protection. And coming very clever, coming through the internet, coming through every social media, coming through every action, the believer is committing a sin, committing a zina, committing an adultery, where before they had to go to somebody's door and to talk to somebody to enter into a zina. Now they can do it via internet, they just start commenting, and already then that sin has dressed that servant. They don't understand and know, and all of a sudden shaitan enters into their heart and enter into their heart until they become completely darkened within their heart. Means that everything that coming for us is a reminder. The shaitan is using every vehicle possible, every means possible to attack the field, that force of protection. And every issue that comes up is not the issue of importance, right? Because the issue of importance is the force field. Not, oh shaykh, this like this, that this like this like this. No, if the force field was protected, the actions were protected, the zikr was constantly patching the field, those issues wouldn't be there. That's the difference between modern medicine and spiritual medicine. Modern medicine, you go to the doctor, he finds all these blisters, he says, take some antibiotics. Well, okay, I saw the blisters too, what was the big Einstein about that? Spiritual medicine comes and says that, why do you have the blisters to begin with? Take the medicine, no problem, but there's something causing these blisters to appear. Go after that. If you go after what's causing this problem, you should find yourself to be in a much better condition. Not always worrying about the issue, because of course you're going to have many issues, you're going to have thousands of issues because you're filled with shak. If your sayyat became so heavy, if your sins became so heavy and so many through so many different mediums, it was very difficult before. Before you had to find somebody and really commit a problem. Now everybody's doing through internet, through every Facebook, through every Instagram, through every Snapchat, through every means possible it's happening. So at every direction there's a hole in the field of that believer and they're succumb and they're overwhelmed by doubt, by difficulties, by problem. Rizq is going to be the first cut because no more barakah. Of course rizq is cut. If there's no barakah, there's no rizq. If there's no light and there's no energy, there's no will to do anything. There's no power in the prayer, there's no power in any action because the battery is being cut. When the battery is cut, what happens? The rabbit doesn't play anymore, the Duracell that's it, the energy has been cut. Then they come and say, oh I have so many problems. Of course you have so many problems, so many sins. So in this day and age what they want for us is that be vigilant of the self. This is the whole way in the schools of adab, the schools of tariqah, they are the schools of vigilance. Waqf of the qalb, that let me to be vigilant of my heart and of myself, that if every action I'm doing, is it creating a sin? Because then there's going to be a negative energy that's going to attack me. You want your rizq to come up? Cut all these sins. You want all your energy to come up? Cut all the sins. You want everything that you want positive in your life and all your requests that you have from Allah is attack these sins. Our way is a way of silence, put a rock in your mouth, but nowadays it's not about talking, it's about typing. Put a rock on your hands. Before he was talking, so Sayyidina Abu Bakr Siddiq was teaching us, put a rock in your mouth at least 7 years until the secrets of Holy Qur'an open in your heart. But now there's a rock is not good enough, you need a straitjacket that can tie your fingers and your hands because the sin is coming through your fingers. People are talking through their hands now, just talking and typing all sorts of nonsense. And each one of them a sin, each one making Prophet to be upset. If Prophet is upset, the veil shuts. If the veil shuts, the person feels, I'm not feeling anything, why have to be with these people anymore? Let me be clever and walk away. Oh, it's not your cleverness, you're on top of a mountain and you just cut your rope. You're now falling thousands of feet off of that hill. And they're taking you up very high. And each reality that you're moving up, you are closely tied and clinging to that rock, to that mountain. Don't you see you're thousands of feet off the ground and you think you're clever? No, shaitan is convincing you cut your rope and fall to your death. And this is the era in which we live in. This is a reminder for anyone who thinks they became clever, you're no better than those people who are now coming against every madhab. They come against every sunnah, they come against everything until all that's left for them is to be partners and shareek with shaytan. What they want for us is a prescription, is the power of istighfar. Whatever your shaykh gave you of the dhikr and wazifa, keep that and add to it on a daily basis of making istighfar. That from the beginning of the day we have tasbihs, try to make 100, 1,000, 2,000, 4,000, 5,000 istighfar. And say, astaghfirullah al-azim wa atubu ilayk. Say, Ya Rabbi, I'm filled with all of these difficulties of which I'm not able to combat, and I'm asking your istighfar. So they busy themselves from the beginning of the day to the midday with istighfar. Astaghfirullah al-azim wa atubu ilayk, astaghfirullah al-azim wa atubu ilayk. Get yourself a nice Ferrari version of a tasbih, that 100, 200 counts, nothing 500 and 1,000. You can't do anything with 500 count tasbih, it's dragging so far behind. You have to have a person behind you just to carry the beads. So this is a very sinful person, why they have so many beads? And you don't ever show it to anyone because you don't want to be showing off. This is for everybody, you're sitting in your car driving to work, sitting on a train for your commute, sitting at home if you're unemployed, make istighfar. For those of us who are unemployed, then we sit on the couch and we make istighfar. Astaghfirullah al-azim bisifat al-azim, bisifat al-azim. Ya Rabbi, that I'm asking you from your sifat of al-azim, that in your greatness that all these universes are but a dot in your presence. Are you really thinking my sins are frightening, Ya Rabbi? Just obliterate them, obliterate them. In one wink just take them away, Ya Rabbi, please. But sifat al-azim, Allah's greatness is that you ask and I'll forgive, you ask and I'll forgive. And Mawlana Shaykh Hisham's teaching that when Allah gives, He gives Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Every istighfar, every astaghfirullah al-azim wa atubu ilayk, Allah's reply is Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. That in my name of Ar-Rahman Ar-Rahim, my promise to Ummah Muhammad I'm dressing you with Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. If you know that all of Holy Qur'an is in Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim, every reality in Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim, Sayyidina Muhammad, Sayyidina Ali, Sayyidina Fatima Sayyidina Hasan, Sayyidina Husayn are in Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. What can the believer want more than Allah's zikr back for us? Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Astaghfirullah al-azim, Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. That begins the patchwork. As much as you can make istighfar, astaghfirullah al-azim wa atubu ilayk, you're constantly trying to patch all of these holes that shaytan is coming through. As much as you're patching and become vigilant over the bad actions, then a growth can begin to occur. The believer is not only always cleansing themselves, as soon as they begin to cleanse, even you think that you reached a point that your actions are good, now begin to make istighfar for all your family that are around you. Means you continue, there's never a time to end the istighfar. Astaghfirullah al-azim wa atubu ilayhi, Ya Rabbi, if I'm clean, alhamdulillah, now my children, now my wife, now my family, now my relatives, my mother, my father, my aunt, whomever didn't ask, Ya Rabbi, istighfar. I'm asking on their behalf, grant them your forgiveness and your rahmah. And Allah become pleased with you, that you're not always worrying about your shoes but you're worrying about other people. And Allah begin to dress you from rahmah, dress you from blessings. And then become, Ya Rabbi, I'm asking istighfar from my community and the people that I know. If they should enter into suffering, it would be as if I'm suffering, Ya Rabbi, grant me a najat, grant me an ease from difficulty. And Allah described in Surah Al-Qamar, when they came overwhelmed, they overwhelmed themselves from these difficulties, they came and Allah said, and we opened the gates of the heaven with an overwhelming shower of water. Water, because it purifies. Water is a rahmah. Water washes away every type of mushkalat, every type of difficulty, every type of sayyad. Allah washes it with water. At the same time Allah dresses it with a ni'mat and a blessing that water makes everything to grow. By midday after they make their istighfar, then begin to perfume and fragrance your soul with durood al-sharif and salawat on Prophet. Ya Rabbi, you cleanse me with istighfar, now I'm asking that you sweeten me with the sunshine of all universes, the light of Sayyidina Muhammad, and make durood al-sharif. Allahumma salli ala Sayyidina Muhammad wa ala ali Sayyidina Muhammad. Allahumma salli ala Sayyidina Muhammad wa ala Sayyidina Muhammad. Allahumma salli ala Sayyidina Muhammad wa ala ali Sayyidina Muhammad. Allahumma salli ala Sayyidina Muhammad wa ala ali Sayyidina Muhammad. It's like you're bathing in the sun of all realities. That you close your eyes and say, Ya Rabbi, I'm not worthy of seeing anything, but visualize yourself like it's a sunshine in front of you. Ya Rabbi, with the power that you've given to the sun of all universes, that more powerful the sun than the sun of this galaxy, that anything approaches that sun is obliterated, means no badness will be showing, only will be given to it a nur and a light. Means fragrance yourself, perfume yourself with durood al-sharif on Prophet. And throughout the rest of the day till evening you make durood al-sharif on Prophet, keep making salawat on Prophet, and you begin to feel the fragrance and the nazar of Prophet. That if you want Prophet's nazar upon you, then you constantly remember him alayhi salatu salam. As much as you're remembering Sayyidina Muhammad, you're praising Allah and praising Prophet at the same time. Allahumma salli ala Sayyidina Muhammad wa ala ali Sayyidina Muhammad. You have completed everything. You have completed the zikr of Allah and the remembrance and praying for the reality of Prophet. We pray that Allah relieve us of difficulties and constantly inspire within our hearts of what's right and wrong, to stop the wrong and to be dressed by the right. At every moment this dunya is collapsing very fast. That Prophet said that a day will come in which a child, a boy of 7, his hair will be grey from azab, and yesterday the world witnessed that boy. What Prophet saw 1500 years ago is an isharat for us, that at that moment Prophet looked and saw that boy, that boy would be seen by the world of what's happening, and the world can't deny what type of oppression they're putting upon these women and children. If you are fighting men, we are fighting men, but these women and children are being buried in buildings. And this boy came out all white, and that was the hadith of Prophet. Every day the hadiths are opening. Zuhur of Sayyidina Mahdi is coming very fast. At every moment we should be praying and crying to Allah istighfar and durood al-sharif that, Ya Rabbi, we're not ready, that what's coming I can't be in this condition, where's the support? Like that we should be asking Allah, where's the support, Ya Rabbi? Don't let me to be in the hands of people who will oppress me. Grant me your najat, grant me sultan and nasira, grant me to be at the feet of Prophet that I achieved, and that you're rida and satisfied with me, otherwise I will be put into the hands of people who are with no mercy. And Allah say, you be cleaned like that. So Allah inspiring within us, don't reach to that point, but keep begging Allah be rida with me, Ya Rabbi ilahi anta maqsudi wa ridat matlub. I'm begging your forgiveness and begging your rida and satisfaction upon me. Grant me from sultan and nasira, that I enter into the presence of Prophet and that Prophet sign upon me that we are satisfied with you, that we are happy with you, that you are under our nazar and under our protection. Subhana rabbika rabbil izzati amma yasifoon, wassalamun al mursaleen, walhamdulillahi rabbil alameen, bi hurmati Muhammad al-Mustafa, sir Surat al-Fatiha.
سيدنا النبي سيدنا النبي سيدنا النبي سيدنا النبي